Hey guys, so I thought it was time to do an updated eyeshadow palette collection video. I have a full playlist of all the collections and declutters that I did in 2020. I'll put a card up here somewhere and a link down below so you guys can check that out if you like to see what other collections I have done. The last collection declutter I did was last December when I did my December 2020 big eyeshadow palette declutter. This video is mostly going to be a collection video, not so much a declutter, although there may be a palette here or there that I may decide to go ahead and pull out, but for the most part, this is going to be a collection. I just thought it'd be fun to do an updated video with us getting into kind of the quarter part of 2021 so you guys can see what I've accumulated so far. We got some Colourpop palettes over here on the table. I have all my other palettes kind of spread out and stacked up on the floor according to brand. And then over here, I have all of my mini palettes in these two baskets, not counting the little Colourpop palettes that I'm going to go through first. I have a total of 121 palettes right now, so let's go ahead and get started because this might take a while. All right, guys, we're back. Here are my hands. I hope that the angle is okay. You know, since I'm filming on my phone, I do not have a monitor, so I have to kind of set the phone in such a way that I can see what I'm doing, but also so you can see what I'm doing on the table. First, we're going to start off with the Colourpop palettes. I have 30 here, so I guess we'll start with the 12 pan palettes and then we'll move into the 9 pan and the 5 pan. I'm just going to take my time with this. I might have to stop to go pick up my daughter. She is currently on campus taking a test right now. Hopefully I can get this done before, but if not, then I might have to like stop and then come back and finish. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we have the Disney Mulan palette. I love the packaging. As you guys know, if you have been following me, I'm a huge Disney fan. Mulan is my favorite Disney princess. Of course, I had to get this. I got the full PR set that had the PR box and the lippies and everything else. Love the packaging, but I will have to admit that I do not like the color story. So the fact that you've got Mulan right there. The color story in this one, I mean, well, not the color story so much as the formula. Now, I would say it is missing, in my opinion, a really pretty like jade green or a really pretty bright purple, but other than that, the color story is okay. It's mainly the formula that I have an issue with, like this glitter right here. These shades, even the mattes, just did not perform well. Overall, the actual formula was just kind of disappointing, but because it's Mulan, you know, this is never going to leave my collection. Then we have the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon palette. Absolutely love that color story. This one, the kind of sequin mattes down here, I absolutely love those. Then we have the Sweet Talk palette. This one to me is just the perfect spring color story. I actually did a kind of shop my stash, get ready with me recently, kind of letting you guys kind of get to know me, and this was the palette that I used in that video. This one is the At Foresight. This one was the collaboration with Raw Beauty Christie. I love this color story. This shade right here, kind of that sagey green, this is an absolutely stunning shimmer. It is so shiny, so wet. Just absolutely love the way that that looks, and on the eyelid it is absolutely stunning. I was very, very excited for Christy that she finally got to do a collaboration. She had been wanting to do a collaboration with Colourpop forever, and I think she knocked it out of the park with this one. Next, we have the Cello palette. This is one of the newer ones to their collection. When I first saw this one, I wasn't very excited about it, but after seeing some swatch videos and stuff, I fell in love with it and decided to go ahead and grab it. These two shades right here are my absolute favorites in the palette. I did have a little bit of a hard time with the blue here, but overall I think the whole palette is gorgeous. The color story is gorgeous. The pans in this palette are also bigger than the ones that we have usually in the 12 pan. Overall, just a gorgeous palette. This one is the Hocus Pocus collaboration collection. Unfortunately, this one is limited edition, and so can't get this one, which really makes me sad because I think it's a beautiful palette. You have the sisters in the lid. This one, there's like a whole lot of drama on launch day. If you guys are trying to get this one, you know exactly what I mean, but I'm glad to have it in my collection. There's 3 more palettes here. These are actually the 15 pan palettes, not the 12 pan palettes. This one is the Villains Misunderstood palette. I absolutely love this one. You guys know I love Disney. I love this color story. This green right here, the purple, whole thing is absolutely gorgeous. This one is the Disney Designer palette. This one and the Villains, those were done kind of as a collection. There were blushes and highlighters and lipsticks and all kinds of goodies with that one. This one is kind of a soft, subtle color story. Absolutely beautiful. Love this one. And then this last one is the Midnight Masquerade. I actually picked this one up last December. I've been wanting to get it all year. Finally decided to grab it when they did their palette sale at the end of the year. I think this is absolutely stunning. Sorry for the glare, the reflection, the ring light on this kind of foil packaging, but the color story in this is absolutely gorgeous. Love the princesses in the lid. Now we're going to move on to the 9-pan palettes. This one is the Big Poppy. I absolutely love this one. It's basically an orangey color story. Anything orange, you guys know I love it. This one is the Blush Crush palette, which is just kind of a pinky, kind of a neutral palette. Absolutely love the Super Shock here. This one is the Little Ray of Sunshine. This one and the Big Poppy are all mattes. There are no shimmers in there. I love this little monochromatic yellow. This was the first yellow one. I didn't get the palette, so this was my yellow palette from Colourpop. Then we have the Star Wars Mandalorian, the Child palette, Baby Grogu. To some, he will always be Baby Yoda, but Baby Grogu is his name. I absolutely love this color story, these greens. Even if this were not a Star Wars, the Child themed palette, I love Star Wars. I love the Child. Even if it wasn't for that, this color story is so gorgeous and so unique, I would have picked it up anyway. Next we have the Wild Child palette. It has a kind of the giraffe design on it. This one is kind of a brown neutral tone palette. This one would be a really, really beautiful everyday palette for someone with deeper skin tones. I really did enjoy working with this palette. Just My Luck, which is kind of a green monochromatic palette. Absolutely love this one. This one is the Cloud Spun palette. This one is newer to my collection. It's just a really pretty pinky kind of monochromatic color story. Really, really pretty. Then we have Blue Moon. This one is the blue monochromatic palette. Aura and Out, which is part of the tie-dye collection. Very pretty color story. This shade right here, this one like fell out, so I have to kind of like press it in, so I'm trying to hold it at an angle so it doesn't fall out again. Then we have Blow and Smoke, formerly Smoke and Mirrors. This one is the black and gray monochromatic palette. I didn't have anything like this as far as the color story, so I went ahead and grabbed this. I got this earlier in the year when I made another order. Don't remember what was in that order, but I'm glad to finally have this one as part of my collection. Then we have the Nude Mood palette. This one and Blush Crush were part of the same collection. This one is more of the warm toned neutral. Absolutely love this one. Then we have Baby Got Peach. I absolutely love this color story. Anything peachy, coral, orangey, you guys know I'm going to love it. And then the last 9-pan palette that I have is the Coast to Coral, which is just another corally peachy toned palette. Last, we're going to go through my 5-pan palettes, and then we'll move on to Juvia's Place after that. This one is the Melt For You palette. This one was part of the Valentine's Day collection. It's just a simple nudie peach color story. Nothing like super crazy or out of this world. And we have 143. This was also part of the Valentine's Day collection. And then the last one from the Valentine's Day collection is Smack. This one is kind of the red toned. I hope you guys can see this clearly. The angle that I'm holding my camera, it's kind of hard. Like, you know, I'm trying to see how it looks, and I'm hoping that you guys can see it clearly too. But that's that one. These last 5 are from that Too Hot collection that just came out. So these are brand new. I haven't even had a chance to swatch these or use any of these yet. With these, there's a fleur-de-lis in one shade in each of the palettes. This one is called Too Hot. It's the pink one. And the fleur-de-lis is right there if you can see it. This one is Cashmere Forever. It's kind of a purple themed. And there's the fleur-de-lis there. Then we have High Society, which is that green tone, and the fleur-de-lis is in this shade right there. And then Rumor Has It is the blue toned palette, and the fleur-de-lis is in the kind of sequin matte shade here. And then last we have Statement Piece, which of course is my favorite, obviously because it's orange, and then the fleur-de-lis is in this one right here. Next, we're going to quickly go through my Juvia's Place palettes. I only have 7 of these. First, let me show you the 20-pan palettes. These were the Walhalla and the Walhalla 2. So that one is the Walhalla. Translation means drama. I love the packaging. The color story in both of these is absolutely stunning. There's the Walhalla 2. Once again, please forgive the reflection of the ring light. This is a color story in this one. Lots of blue, purplish shades in this one. This one is a Nomad. This is one of my absolute favorite palettes in my entire collection. It's just those really pretty grungy tones. Oh God, I love this one. Then we have the Warrior 3, which is kind of a rainbow palette. And then the Zulu. The Zulu and the Warrior 3 I consider to be kind of sister palettes. You can use those two to put together multiple looks. But this one's kind of another rainbow themed palette. And then I have the Nubian Coral palette. This one is a 12 pan. It's just a really pretty coral neutrally palette. This one is really, really pretty in the spring. And then my last palette from Juvia's Place, this is the Sweet Pinks. This is one of their newer 6-pan palettes. My only complaint about this one is that there are only 2 mattes in this palette. All the rest are shimmers, so you're kind of limited as to the looks that you can put together with this one. But if you just wanted to throw together a really quick pink look, this one will do you in a pinch. I have 4 palettes from Nomad. This one is a Shanghai palette. This was their latest release. This one is no longer available. This one was pulled from their website. I had did a whole video on this one, Instagram, everything before. I have learned, I did not realize that there was some controversy behind this palette. The yin yang symbol was found to be offensive, which I understand. So, I pulled everything. I'm not here to offend anybody, especially anybody in my own Asian community. I am going to be keeping this though in my collection, and the main reason is because of these shimmers. This is a unique formula to Nomad. They said that they may launch a palette that just has just the shimmers with this formula in it, but that's not like definite. So the only way to actually have this formula for sure is if you already have this palette. If you don't, then you may never be able to get this particular shimmer formula in this particular format. These are the foil shimmers. But just because of the fact that this formula is so unique to this palette, this one I'm going to be keeping for the long run. I just want to kind of explain while I have that one in my collection. This one is the Cartagena Magica Orange. Guys, I love this one. The Nomad formula in general is just absolutely stunning. It's so unique. It is one of my absolute favorites. This one is the Fire and Ice. The Iceland Fire and Ice palette. I cannot read. Absolutely stunning. This one is more of a blue with like a little pop of red there. Absolutely gorgeous. And then the last one, this one is the Tokyo Harajuku palette. Absolutely love the packaging, the color story, all of the shimmer metallics in the bottom. Oh my God, you guys, that formula is absolutely stunning. If you have not picked up a Nomad palette, do so. You are missing out. They have one of the most beautiful eyeshadow formulas on the market. So this next big stack, this is all of my palettes from BH Cosmetics. I have 10. Let's go ahead and jump into this. This first palette, this is one of the ones from their birthstone collection. This year, they've been launching a new palette every month based on that month's birthstone. I am Aquamarine March, so I went ahead and grabbed this one. I will say the color story is not like the most inspiring. I'm still confused as to this gigantic shimmer on the side over here. It's pretty. It is a beautiful shade, but yeah, I will never pan that. But I picked this up because it's my birthstone. These next 3 palettes are the newest ones to my collection from BH Cosmetics. These are the Dance Remix palettes. We have the 80s palette, the 90s palette, and the 2000s palette. I really love the packaging and the aesthetic on each one of these. I love the little play on song lyrics. Each one of these shades is the name of a song lyric from a song that came out during that decade. This palette was really, really beautiful. I loved working with this one. This one, however, the 90s palette, this one I found to be patchy. The payoff just wasn't there. I really did not enjoy working with the Formulas palette, but I love the aesthetic, so, I'm going to be keeping it. And then this one is the 2000s palette. Of all 3 of these, this one was my favorite. I loved the kind of grungy gothicness of the color story, and every single shade in here that I used blended absolutely beautifully. Purples are hard to formulate. The purple in this palette was absolutely perfect. Then we have the La Vie Dune Prince, I think I'm saying that right, which is this really pretty neon palette. Absolutely stunning. This one is the Orange Sorbet. I wanted the pistachio, which is the green one, but it sold out before I could get it. This formula is absolutely gorgeous. These came out last summer. These are some of my favorite formulas of all of my BH palettes. This one is the Orange Sorbet. And then this one is Cherry on Top, which is kind of the red one. As you can see, I absolutely love this one. Both of these palettes are just stunning. I just realized I had my Violet Voss palette thrown in here, so I only have 9 palettes from BH Cosmetics. This one is the Lunar New Year palette, the 2021 edit. I thought the color story in this one and the formulas, this palette was just absolutely stunning. Every single shade that I used in here, I absolutely loved. Absolutely love this one too. This one was the Naughty and Nice palette. packaging looks like an ugly sweater. And the color story in this one, the formulas, oh my God, guys. These two right here, this shade and this one right here. I'm going to swatch these for you. I mean, look at that. Absolutely stunning. This is one of my favorite palettes in my entire eyeshadow palette collection. So the next several palettes, I only have one each from each brand, so it should be easy for me to get through these pretty quickly. This one is from Violet Voss. This is a Sakura Blossom palette. I absolutely love this one. I did have, I think it was called the Electra 2 or something like that. I got out of a BoxyCharm. The formula in that one, not the same as this one. I did declutter that one, but I just thought this was so beautiful. I love Sakura Blossoms. I love pink. And this is just stunning. Then we have the Tati Beauty palette. I like the unique way that she did this one where she has, this is called the texture neutral. So each row is a different texture, pretty much the same shade though, you know, in each column. She was supposed to do like different volumes, but this one came out like early last year. She hasn't launched anything else since, but it is a beautiful palette. This one is the Crown. I absolutely love the peachy warm tones in this one. This came out of my very first BoxyCharm box. This one, like I said, I just love the very warm peachy tones in this palette. This one is called the Dolly Angel. This one came out of my December No Make No Life Korean and Japanese beauty box. It's not the most inspiring formula or anything, but I do like it. I may declutter this one later on in the year, but for now it's not gonna go anywhere. I like it in my collection. This one, if you guys have followed me, if you did see my declutter last year, then you know how special this palette is. This one is called the Exposed. This one came from Five Below. It is in the color Workshop. This one has one of the worst formulas I've ever seen in my life. It's powdery, it's chalky, it is a mess. But this palette was a Christmas gift from my daughter about 3 Christmases ago. She gave me this and she also gave me a face palette, and she was so excited about giving this to me. So there was no way ever on the face of the planet this will ever leave my collection. This one is from The Balm. This is the Alternative Face Palette Volume 1, the Alternative Rock Palette. This one, I love the fact that the mirror looks like a vintage album. With this one, you have 6 shadows, a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter. For my purposes, anything that has 6 shades and more, I'm including it in an eyeshadow palette collection and not just a face palette. This one is really, really pretty. This is my first experience with the Balm eyeshadow formula, and I like it. This one was the Pure X Raw Beauty Christie collaboration palette. I only picked this up because it was Raw Beauty Christie. This one is a double-sided palette. You have kind of a colorful color story on that side, and then you flip it over, and you have more neutral tones on this side. This one is the Tiny Marvels. This was the collaboration with Mel Thompson. This is a newer palette to my collection. This was in collaboration with Sydney Grace. These are some of the most beautiful formulas I have ever worked with. They're so creamy, so metallic. I mean, just look at that. Hopefully you can see it really well. Like I said, the angle I'm shooting is kind of weird, but look at that. Look at that. I mean, the formula is just absolutely amazing. Then we have the Oma Beauty Coming to America 2 collaboration. There were 3 palettes in this collection, but this was the one that just really caught my attention. My first experience with the Oma Beauty eyeshadow formula, and I love it. This one is the She Glam Deep Feelings eyeshadow palette. I picked this one up specifically for a full face of She Glam video that I did. This one is a black grayish tone. The formula in this was nice. Is it my favorite formula? No. More than likely I'll probably declutter this one sometime later on in the year, but for the most part I like having it in my collection, and you know, it was a nice formula. It wasn't bad. This next one is from NYX. This is the only one that I have. This is the Sabrina Netflix collaboration palette. It's made to look like a spell book. I absolutely love Sabrina, which is why I picked this one up. The inside cover looks like a spell book page. And this one is an eyeshadow palette and a face palette as well. You have 2 blushes, and then you have a highlighter in the middle. I really do like this color story. Of course, the main reason why I picked this one up specifically is because of the fact that it was a Sabrina palette, but I do like the formula in this one. I do think it's a nice color story. I have enjoyed working with it. This one is the Obsessions palette. There are 18 pans in here. It's from Smoke and Mirrors. I got this one from Five Below. I picked this one up for a vegan clean beauty makeup video I did, because they had this one and the face palette, and they were vegan and cruelty free, and so I wanted to grab them and test them out for a video. This is one of my favorite palettes. This formula for $5 is so nice. It's a really beautiful everyday palette for the spring. I'm loving it. This one is the Ace Beauté Nostalgia palette. This one came out of a BoxyCharm. My Gay Bestie palette from Camarillo Beauty. When you open this one, he actually has a little bit of an inspirational saying.
Hey friend, you're gonna slay this look. Today is your day, so everything and anything you do is gonna be amazing.
This one is from an independent brand. He's a very, very small beauty blogger. This formula is absolutely stunning. It's one of my favorite neutral color stories in my collection. This is one of my favorite everyday palettes to grab. Fall, spring, doesn't matter. Beautiful all year round. Then we have the Glamlight Ice Cream palette. This is my only palette from Glamlight. I've been wanting to get some more. I just haven't had a chance to yet. I'm hoping that they launch something else really soon. The color story, you guys, on this one, Glamlight is another one of those brands, independent brands, that just has a really beautiful, unique formula. Their shimmers, stunning. This one, I mean, look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous. Let me go ahead and swatch these for you real quick. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. There's one thing about independent brands that I'll have to say, compared to like the mainstream brands, they tend to have some of the most beautiful, unique shimmer formulas. Just absolutely stunning. This one is my Kimchi Chic and Naomi Smalls Two Queens in a Desert palette. This one is vegan friendly. I love kimchi. I honestly don't really know much about Naomi, but this palette is really, really beautiful. There's a picture of the two queens right there. You basically have two sets of columns. These two are kimchi. Hold on, it's upside down. These two are kimchi, and these two are Naomi. The formula is really beautiful. Very much enjoyed working with this one. So after I finish this stack, I'm going to have to take a quick break and go give my son lunch, and then we'll come back and finish up the rest. This one is my Uden's Eye palette. This is the Alva eyeshadow palette, the Mini Forest palette. This one I got out of my Uden's Eye mystery box. I don't even know if you can see that. It's so hard to show all the details of this palette. It's absolutely beautiful. Uden's Eye is a Swedish brand. This is my first time using an Uden's Eye formula, but that's what the color story looks like. It's absolutely stunning. And then we have the Midas Cosmetics Smoky Glow collaboration palette. This is an absolutely beautiful, stunning color story. I actually have two from Tarte. This one is the Juicy palette. This one is absolutely one of my favorites. First, it smells so good. It smells like sugar cookies. And then this color story, it's just a really beautiful everyday color story for spring. I've enjoyed pulling this one out when I just want to throw together a nice, really pretty, neutral, warm tone look. I absolutely love this. There's a couple of cool tones in this palette as well. This one is the Man Eater eyeshadow and face palette. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be pulled from my collection. I was so unhappy with this palette. When I ordered this on Ulta, this shade right here, which is the blush, was really, really deep berry pink. It was so beautiful. As you can see in person, yeah, no berry. It's kind of hard to see because of the fact that you have the reflection from the ring light. But yeah, I was not happy about this palette at all. I'll lower the lighting on my ring light a little bit. Hopefully you can see it a little bit better. But yeah, and the formula in this palette was not very good. The packaging, as you can see, is just like super, super cheap. Very, very disappointing experience. This one is the Caliente Artist Couture palette. This one came out of a BoxyCharm box. I absolutely love this color story. This one is the Zoeva Spice of Life palette. This one I really like pulling out in the fall. Then we have the Spanglish palette. This one is from Alamar Cosmetics. This one also came out of a BoxyCharm. I love the color. I think the color story is really, really pretty. This one is the Butte Bean X Shroud It's Freakin's Bat palette. I love Butte Bean. She's one of my favorite YouTubers. This color story is absolutely amazing. Shroud's formula is amazing. I got like a little bit of a ding in there, but do you see that? I mean, they are so creamy, so wet. Just absolutely stunning. Right now, Shroud is in the process of getting caught up from the first initial launch of this palette. Once they get caught up, they're going to reopen the store, and then you'll be able to get this palette if you want. Definitely grab it when the store reopens. It is a stunning palette. These next two palettes I am going to be decluttering and pulling out of my collection. This one is the Morphe X James Charles Mini Palette. First of all, I don't support Morphe. I stay away from Morphe. I got this the middle of last year. It's like 50% off from Ulta. Is before I kind of stopped my support of Morphe. And if you've been following everything, I think it's pretty obvious why I'm taking this particular palette out of my collection. I just can't support him. I can't do it. I just can't. And this last one in this stack before I take a break to go give the 8-year-old lunch. This is the Muse Cosmetics 12 color eyeshadow palette. This one was $1. I picked this up from Shop Miss A. I did not like this one at all. Now I have other palettes from Shop Miss A. I actually have another palette from Muse that I really like. The formula in this particular palette was chalky, it was patchy, it was powdery, no pigment, didn't blend worth a darn. And like I said, you can make the argument of, well, you get what you pay for, but I have $1 palettes that work really, really well for me. This one just happened to be a bad formula all around. This one I'm definitely going to go ahead and pull out of my collection right now. With that, we are going to take a little bit of a break. I need to go fix the 8-year-old lunch, and then I need to go pick my daughter up from school. She is done with her test. When I get back, we will finish filming the rest of this collection video. All right, we are back. Son has eaten, daughter has been picked up. Let's continue on with this declutter. Now we're going to go through my Milani palettes. I only have 3. This one is the Beautiful Nightmare. This came out last Halloween. I absolutely love this one. This one reminded me of A Nightmare Before Christmas. I felt like this one was much more to the color story than another palette that I'm going to show you in a little bit, but I love this one. These two are from the Salt and Pepper collaboration. This one is the Very Necessary eyeshadow palette and highlighter palette. You have the highlighter in the middle. This one is like an all shimmer metallic palette. I like the fact that the eyeshadow pans look like a CD. This one is the Hot, Cool, and Vicious palette. I like that color story too. Not my favorite formula, but it's okay. I got it for the nostalgia of Salt and Pepper. These two are my Sugar Pill palettes. This one is the Mini Color palette. This is the Fun Size Pastel palette. I absolutely love this one. And then this is one of the Capsule Collection palettes. This one is the Orange. I've been wanting to collect the other ones, but I just haven't had a chance to yet. This shade right here in this palette, which is called Moonshine. This one, oh my lord, can you see that? It's absolutely stunning. Sugar Pill has a very gorgeous formula. One of these days, I'm going to get the other capsules in this collection as well. Y'all, my allergies are starting to act up. Somebody was like mowing the lawn when I was out here picking up my daughter, and now, whew, it's fun time. These two are my Urban Decay palettes. This one is the Born to Run palette. As we all know, this one is a classic OG palette. I actually have only owned this one for about 6 months. I picked it up for a dupe video. Very, very classic formula. So I love this one. And then this one is the Naked Cherry. My husband got this for me from Ulta. We were there shopping, looking for something completely different. He saw this palette on sale and got so excited because he thought that I would look really pretty in this color story. And I do like this palette. This is a really, really pretty color story. This is the only Naked palette that I currently own. These two palettes are from LA Colors. I got these for a full face of LA Colors that I did at the beginning of last December as part of my Uyangmas, the first time I had uploaded every day in 1 month. Both of these are like shimmer shadows. Every single one of them is a shimmer formula. None of them are matte. This formula is really, really nice though. I really like it. It might be something that I might declutter in the future, but currently I love both these palettes. So yeah. These are all of my Ulta collaboration palettes. This one is the Ulta Black Widow. This is one of my absolute favorites in my collection. I'm a huge Marvel fan. If you guys been following my channel, you know that. But I love the packaging. Color story is absolutely stunning. This gunmetal shade right here, which is called Infiltrate. Really, really beautiful kind of duochrome shade. I absolutely love this palette. These three are from the WandaVision collection. These I was not impressed with. You have one for each decade, 50s, 60s, 70s, and then 80s and 90s. This one is the 50s and 60s palette. First of all, I don't like the packaging. I don't even know if you can see that clearly, but it reminds me more of like Iron Man than it does either Scarlet Witch or WandaVision. But that is the 50s and 60s palette. This one is the 70s palette. All right there. That's what the packaging looks like on that one. Maybe kind of hard to see in this lighting. And then this one is the 80s and 90s palette. And that's the color story for this one. Eventually, these may get decluttered. For now, I'm going to keep them, but I'm pretty sure that in the future, these are probably going to get decluttered. My last Ulta collaboration palette is the Gryffindor. This is the Gryffindor Harry Potter palette. There were 4 for each house. Now, I will say, I am not too happy with J.K. Rowling. I have not made any other purchases as far as the Harry Potter collection. I just don't want to be giving her my money. I am going to be keeping this palette because I do like the color story. I love Harry Potter and I love Gryffindor. I just wish JK would act right. We have a few more stacks of the bigger palettes, and then I have some mini palettes I'm going to show you guys. These are all from Makeup Beauty Revolution. These two are from the Nightmare Before Christmas collaboration. You have the Sally palette and then you have the Jack palette. Love the packaging. Even if I didn't like the color story, and to be honest, I don't think that with either one of them, color story really matches the actual character. But I like the packaging, and basically these are just kind of like Halloween decorations. So whenever Halloween comes, I like pull these out. But that's the Jack Skellington one. This is the color story. Once again, I don't really think it fits him. There's a shade in here called Bones, which is this shade right here. It is not the color of Bones. It's like a taupey shade. I don't know why they named that one Bones. It has nothing to do with Bones. This one is the color book. This is from the Revolution Makeup London color book series. They made one of these for each different color story in the, I don't know, color wheel, I guess you could call it. This one goes from green to blue. This is the only one that I currently have at the moment. The bottom, all the shades here on the bottom are mattes, if you can see that. And then there's this plastic slip, and you pull that down, and all these shades on the top, right up in here, these are all shimmer shades. So basically the same shades as the ones in the bottom, but they're all shimmers. I haven't had a chance to play with this yet. I picked this up because I didn't only have one green base palette, and that's that Just My Luck palette from Colourpop, and I wanted some more greens. And I found this one at TJ Maxx, so that's why I went ahead and grabbed that one. My last palette from Revolution, this one is from the I Love Revolution collection. This is the Disney Princess Little Mermaid. This one is the newest palette to my collection. I just got this one. There's a Cinderella, Tiana, and a Belle. I did order the Tiana one with this order when I made this one, but apparently it sold out because it was not in my package. Thankfully, Makeup Revolution has an instant chat feature, so I was able to talk to somebody instantly about it. Found out that it had sold out. They gave me the option of a credit to wait for the palette to be restocked or get a refund. I just went ahead and got a refund because there's no telling when that palette's going to be restocked. This one is a Little Mermaid. I love this packaging. I think the whole aesthetic of it is absolutely stunning. I'm a huge Disney fan. I love the Disney princesses. You have blushes and highlighters on this side, and then the eyeshadow palettes on this side. Like I said, I love this color story. I actually just used this palette today to do the look that you saw at the very beginning of this video. I actually filmed that. The formula in this, I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. The blushes were nice, but everything else, highlighters, the shimmers, especially over here, were just pitiful. There was no payoff from that at all. But, you know, for the actual aesthetic of it, I'm definitely glad to have it in my collection. If you are a Disney collector, this would look absolutely beautiful on this shelf. Formula-wise, though, yeah, that was very disappointing. These are my e.l.f. palettes. I have 2 of the bigger palettes and 1 of the bite sizes. The only reason why I don't have more e.l.f. palettes is because their formula is so inconsistent. I'm like really hesitant about buying them. But this one is the e.l.f. Chipotle palette. Unfortunately, this was a limited edition, so it's not available anymore. But this palette was stunning. I'm not a huge Chipotle fan, I have to admit to that. But I just thought the color story was stunning, and the formula in this palette, oh my god, it was absolutely gorgeous. I love this shade right here, which is so creamy. Let me swatch that. You see that? Oh, what shade was that? Oh yeah. The one thing about this palette that I did not like is that there was a slip. I must have misplaced it. Instead of them having the shade names on the palette, it was on this plastic slip. And like I said, I must have misplaced it because I don't seem to have it anymore. So I don't know what shades these are. I think this was Guacamole. I think that was that shade, but yeah, I digress. I love this palette. I also love this one. This is the e.l.f. Extra Kissa palette. This one came with like stickers and stuff so that you could decorate this with. I gave the stickers to my daughter. This was like in collaboration with like an animal rescue. I know Jakissa loves animals. And this is just a really, really beautiful rainbow color story. I absolutely love this. This is one of my favorite formulas. This one is one of the bite-sized palettes. It's the only one that I've gotten so far. The formula on this one was really nice too. I did enjoy it, but not enough to want to like run out and grab any more of the bite-sized palettes. It was nice, but I don't think I'll get any more of those. I think this is the only one that I'm probably going to end up collecting. Last stack, and then we're going to move on to my mini palettes. I don't include that e.l.f. one or the Colourpop 5-pan palettes. All of these palettes I got from Hot Topic. These two are Nightmare Before Christmas themed. This one is the Oogie Boogie palette. I really liked this color story. And while it's not my favorite formula, it did blend pretty well. I think it's absolutely gorgeous as far as the color story goes, but mostly I got it for the packaging. Once again, it's going to be a really nice little decorative feature for Halloween. This one as well. This is called the Love is Eternal palette. This one is the Jack and Skellington palette. I love this packaging. As you can see, the words are raised. The color story wasn't bad, but the formula on this one was just not very good at all. It did not blend very well. Didn't really like it. When it comes to palettes you get from Hot Topic, it can be hit or miss. Sometimes the formula can be really great. Other times it just is awful. And this one was just not a very good formula. But the packaging I really like. Halloween. This is going to be really, really nice. This one is the Moana palette. I got this one as a Moana. I absolutely love her. She's my second favorite Disney princess. My favorite is Mulan. Y'all, Hot Topic did my girl wrong. This is one of the most chalky, powdery, no pigment palettes I've ever seen in my life. The formula in this one is just awful. They did my girl wrong. I keep it though because it is a Moana palette and it looks good on my display shelves, but formula-wise, it sucks. This one is the Hello Kitty Kawaii palette. I have not had a chance to actually play around with this one. I did swatches for it for a TikTok video, but as far as actually putting a look together with it, I haven't had a chance. And I love this color story. I got this one specifically because it was Hello Kitty and I love Hello Kitty. I think this entire packaging looks really nice. So I did the swatches. Everything swatched really well, so I don't think I'll have an issue with actually using these. You know, I put together a look. I haven't actually had a chance to do that yet. I do love this palette. This one is my Mulan Warrior Reflection palette. This is one of my favorites in my entire collection. First of all, because of the packaging, Mulan, you got the Great Dragon, you got Cricky on the top, on the inside. You have Mushu and the mirror right here. I don't know if you can kind of see them right there. The formula in this palette is one of my absolute favorites. This is one of those Colourpop Hot Topic palettes where the formula is just really, really stunning. This shade right here, which is called Mushu. Oh my God, this one is so creamy and buttery. You see that? Oh my Lord, this is one of my absolute favorite palettes in my collection. The formula in this one is really, really nice. It does have like a little brush that looks like a paintbrush, but I just keep it in the palette as a collectible. I don't ever actually use this, but I do like that feature. This whole palette is just absolutely stunning. The last palette that I have that's part of this Hot Topic collection, this is the Supernatural, the Eternal War eyeshadow palette. I don't even know if you guys can really see that, but this is Supernatural themed from the TV series. It says Supernatural Join the Hunt. I'm a huge Supernatural fan. I didn't start watching it until about season 5, but I've been a devoted fan of the show. I've gone to a few Supernatural cons, gotten autographs from the cast. So when I saw this, definitely had to get it. And this is one of those that, yes, I got it for the kitschiness of the fact that it's a Supernatural palette, but the formula in this one's really, really nice too. Hold on. I have the plastic over this one so that it doesn't get messed up. This shade right here, Angel. You have like the kind of angel side and then a demon side on the left. This one is just an example of how pretty the shades are in this palette. Just another one of my favorites in my collection. I forgot to show you the Hello Kitty and Friends Colourpop palette. This one I got for my daughter. I've got her the entire collection. It was the first Colourpop collection that she'd ever owned. We actually did a video with this one, but I wanted to show you to it just because it is in our collection. It is another Colourpop palette. This one was not my favorite color story or formula where Hello Kitty was concerned, but my daughter enjoys it. The packaging is really nice, so we're glad to have it. The last palettes that we're going to be talking about, these are all of my mini palettes that didn't include the Colourpop 5-pan palettes or that bite-sized palette from e.l.f. These two are Natasha Denona palettes. These are the only Natasha Denona palettes I have, and I only have these because they came in BoxyCharm boxes. This one is the newest one, Jubilee. I think this came out of my April BoxyCharm, March or April, I can't remember exactly. I haven't had a chance to actually put a look together with this one, but I did swatch it for a TikTok video, and I thought the formula was nice. This one is called Peak, and I just love this color story, and I'm sure you guys can guess why. It's a beautiful burnt orangey warm tone palette. Absolutely gorgeous. I do not know if the formula in these are like the formulas in the other Natasha palettes, and these are $48. I can tell you right now, I will never buy a 5-pan palette for $48. But it's nice to have a couple of things from Natasha Denona. This one is the Hershey's Creamy Milk Chocolate Play Color Eyes Mini. This one is from Etude House. This is a K-Beauty brand. This one came in a Dieback box, and I absolutely love it. Is it the most pigmented formula in the world? No, and they did miss an opportunity with not having it smell like chocolate, but the whole kitschiness and aesthetic of it I think is absolutely cute. This one is from Joa. I picked this up for a full face of Joa video. This shade is the Escapade palette in Amazonian. It's a really nice formula. This one is one you can just kind of grab and pull out if you just want to do like a quick warm tone look. It's very nice for that. This one is from Flower Beauty. It is there like an actual name? I guess Petal Play must be the name of this quad. But this one has really beautiful berry tones in it. I'm hoping that with my lighting you can actually see these clearly. This is a really nice formula. This is the first time I'd ever used Flower Beauty. I decided to go ahead and do a full face, or I did an eyeshadow palette, a blush, and a lippy. And I did like it. I think it's a nice little quick little quad to pull out, you know, if you want to do a quick little berry look. This one is the Muse Love ×4 eyeshadow palette. This one was $1. I got this one from Shop Mercedes. This is one of my favorites in my collection. It's just a little mini metallic shimmer palette. All four of these shades are really beautiful. There's a lot of payoff. There's a lot of shine. I really enjoy this palette. This one is from Kiko Milano. This was part of the Wonder Woman collection in collaboration with the comics, not the movie. But I love the kind of 1980s aesthetic of the eyeshadow palette. Color story in this one was really nice too. This one was mostly shimmers, but I enjoyed playing with it. I did like a whole look with the Kiko Milano Wonder Woman collection. This one is from Muse. This one I'm probably going to go ahead and declutter. It's a little 4-pan palette. I kept this one from my last declutter only because I didn't have a silver, or rather black gray toned palette, but now I have two of them, so I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter this. It's a really nice formula. We have made it to the last palette in my collection. Whew, I've seen some people with like 600 plus palettes. I don't know how they do it. This one is the Wayne Goss Luxury Eye Palette. This one is in Pearl Moonstone. This was the second one that he had. The first one, I don't know the name of it. It was like a warm toned neutral. I just really loved these silvery gray tones in this palette. I mean, look at that. Absolutely stunning. This shade right here is kind of a topper shade. I think that's number 4, number 6. This shade right here, which is number 6, it's kind of a topper shade, but it has a really nice amount of pigment that it works as a nice beautiful little shimmer on its own. But this is an absolutely beautiful formula. You can get it on Beautylish. If you see it, I say go ahead and get it. So that was my full eyeshadow palette collection. I think it turned out to be more like 123 palettes. I did declutter a few, not a lot. Most of the palettes I currently have right now I am going to be keeping for a while. But if you'd like to see a blush or highlighter collection, face palette collection, something like that, let me know down in the comments. I would love to do an updated video for each one. That's something you would like to see. If you like these types of videos, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not already subscribed and you'd like to be subscribed, I would love it if you join my little family. And if you'd like to be notified of any videos that may be coming up in the future, just be sure to tap the notification bell down below. You'll be notified each and every time. Be safe, guys. Take care of yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.